looks like we have sound.
See you later.
Yeah, go ahead. Please wait.
It's the one thing that Janice and I disagree on. I love breezes, and she doesn't like living in a wind tunnel. So, what can I say? I was relating a story about that just this morning, though. Janine, who some of you have met, we had a concert here, love her songs. Anyway, she was here about 9 years ago now, at our 10th anniversary. And she'd never been to this part of the country. She lived in New Mexico. Big surprise. And so we took her all over Seattle and all kinds, and we found this perfect little beach in way, way north Seattle, north of Edmonds, somewhere. I don't even know how we got there. It was stormy. The sky was this black and gray, and the wind, and the waves were probably like this, washing up, and we were just right next to it. It was just phenomenal. It was so, she just loved it, and I loved it. Everybody else stayed in the car. Yeah. More t-shirts. You can't scare me, I have a daughter. Admit it, life would be boring without me. Every time I think things can't get any worse, there's an election. I may have to buy that one. Did your ears hear what your mouth just said? I didn't think so. I was normal 3 dogs ago. Shih Tzu dogs. I shih tzu not. Oh, no. I may be old, but at least I got to drive all the cool cars. Yeah. And this, if you know the periodic table signs, one of the S would be sulfur, AR, argon, Ca for calcium, and SM for samarium, sarcasm, the body's natural defense against stupidity. I love them. And our patron saints, George Carlin and John Lennon.
Hey, George and John.
And John said, if everyone demanded peace instead of another television set, hey, guess what? There would be peace. And George, believe it or not, I don't read every one of these that are on here. I just can't. Not in public anyway. So I skipped the next one. The real reason we can't have the 10 Commandments in a courthouse, you cannot post, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, and thou shalt not lie, in a building full of lawyers, judges, and politicians. It creates a hostile work environment. And it does. Hey, we're having a barbecue today. How's that? So hopefully everybody's all ready, and we're going to eat and have a good time.
And if you didn't bring anything, stay and visit.
Well, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Where am I? Did I miss what I was doing here? Yeah, on page. Okay. Insanity is often the logic of an accurate mind overtaxed.
Say again.
I didn't even say it correct the first time. This is actually Oliver Wendell Holmes. So, insanity is often the logic of an accurate mind overtasked. Interesting. All intelligent thoughts have already been thought. What is necessary is only to try to think them again. To want to forget something is to think of it. French proverb. There have been many periods of booming prosperity, but none like the gay 90s. It was not only a period of quick wealth and free spending, it was also an era of complete optimism. Many persons thought such ills as depressions and wars would never return. In a wild outburst of enthusiasm, leaders blustered and bragged about unending prosperity. It was inevitable that the mood of the era should be reflected in architecture. It became customary to build a commercial establishment in such a fashion that the front wall extended well past the roof. This false front gave an appearance of greater size. Sometimes it extended a whole story above the roof and was equipped with windows that opened on empty space. So prevalent was the false front that it came to be a symbol of pretense or any display of sham resources. Interesting. I'm sure you've seen some of those buildings in some towns, like, why did they do that? Well, that was kind of why. A Valentine's Day party in Victorian times would find young ladies writing their names on slips of paper. The young men would draw a slip and pin it to their sleeve, which is where the expression wearing your heart on your sleeve comes from. Actually, it's going to be so nice today. We've got a couple canopies outside, but if anybody wants to go outside to eat, that would be kind of nice too. The last time I made a comment like that was way back when we were in our very, very, very first building, and it was probably April. Gorgeous, gorgeous weather outside. We all had folding chairs. And I said, for 2 cents, I think I would just tell everybody to go outside and we'll have services outside. And by that time, people were already picking up their chairs and heading out. So. And it was gorgeous outside. It was a beautiful service. Ew. Oh yeah. Not one shred of evidence supports the notion that life is serious. It is easier to get forgiveness than permission. And that is one of the things I have lived by for at least the last 40 years. Yeah. And it works for me. For every action, there is an equal and opposite government program. If you look like your passport picture, you probably need a trip. Virginia quake, breaking news. The USGS, U.S. Geological Service, has determined that the epicenter of the earthquake was a cemetery just outside of Washington, D.C. The cause appears to be all of our founding fathers rolling over in their graves. Or it could have been the $14 trillion check bouncing. I'm not really sure about that. So. A lot of political stuff today. Oops. Worms in church. I did this one back in 2011. Some of you will remember it. Others weren't here. Probably heard of it. A minister decided that a visual demonstration would add emphasis to his Sunday service. 4 worms were placed in 4 separate jars. The first worm was put in a container of alcohol. Second worm was put in a container of cigarette smoke. Third worm was put into a container of chocolate syrup. And the fourth worm was put into a container of good, clean soil. At the conclusion of the sermon, the minister reported the following results. The first worm in alcohol, dead. Second worm in cigarette smoke, dead. Third worm in chocolate syrup, dead. Fourth worm in good, clean soil, alive. So the minister asked the congregation, what did you learn from this demonstration? Maxine was sitting in the back, quickly raised her hand and said, as long as you drink smoke and eat chocolate, you won't have worms. Absolutely. Works for me. I know it doesn't make any sense. It's a joke. Oh, by the way, that pretty much ended their service, too. Today is International Disturbed Peoples Day. Please send an encouraging message to a disturbed friend.
Have a good day.
Oh, thank you.
Just a guide.
Have a good day.
Did anybody leave a notebook here last Sunday? Okay. We'll keep asking. That's been sticking in your head all day. Oh, forgot. So, am I the only one that has a heavy heart?
No.
No.
Man, I tell you. Let's talk about it. Well, I don't want to talk about heavy heart, but I want to talk about sometimes having a heavy heart makes us feel as if we're disconnected. You're not disconnected. That crap's in the way, but you're not disconnected. The connection is still there. The sad part is that when we don't feel the connection, we say and do things that intensify that feeling of being disconnected. God, why? Oh, you've never done that, I'm sure. Or it's like, I've been asking. You know, we do that. So the truth here is that stuff gets in the way. So what's something that gets in the way of your life? Of you feeling connected?
Just too busy.
Too busy. Oh, yeah, that's a big one. Do we need to write these down? Or we got it? We got it. Although I do love my flip chart. Love my poster flip chart. What else gets you feeling disconnected? Yeah.
Me.
Me, myself, and I'm in the way here. Yeah. I can relate to that. Yeah.
Wondering if I'm doing the right thing and not like constantly think, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing
Oh, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Doubt. Yeah. Yeah. We can all relate to that, can we not? What else gets us disconnected? Kelly? Sorrow. Now here's the thing about sorrow. Thanks for bringing sorrow up. You can have sorrow and stay connected. Sometimes when we have sorrow, it's overwhelming. And at the same time, you have a sense that there is a divine presence that knows your sorrow. And then sometimes we let sorrow overwhelm us and we lose that connection. Or we lose the sense of that connection. So what's the difference? The difference is sometimes when we pretend everything is okay and we don't experience the sorrow, that's when we disconnect. Does that make sense? Sorrow doesn't disconnect us. It's the faking it or pretending that everything is okay and it's not. That'll disconnect. Now, let me say this about that. You've heard the phrase, fake it till you make it? I hate that. Love that. I don't know. Because I think we engender an energy. So if I'm wanting to feel more cheerful, I do things that are cheerful. That's not faking it till you make it. That's engendering that energy. People who are ingenuous or who are fake, you can feel, energy doesn't lie, and you can feel that a mile away. So pretending is the hard part. Pretending what is that is not is what is disconnecting and disconcerting to the people around you. People can feel it. I'd much rather be around somebody who is genuinely feeling sorry or sad or sorrow than somebody who is overwhelmed by grief and pretending everything's fine. You know, don't you agree? And sometimes we pretend because we don't want other people to suffer, especially in a community like this, because we are all very sensitive. Oh, I don't want to inflict my pain on anybody else. You know, at the same time, we carry one another's burdens. The good book talks about bear one another's burdens. Lift each other up with that. So it's the moving through that is the key. Sometimes people just get stuck in a sorrow, and rather than moving through the sorrow, they just anguish in it. And that's different. That can make you feel blocked up too. So sorrow is this grief that we carry in our heart space, carry in our gut, And we're walking along, and we're in the grocery store, and all of a sudden, oh my God, I just remembered my dad, and I just got to cry like a baby. Right? That's grief. And you never know when that stuff's going to hit, do you? But there it is. And that's real. That's reality. And sometimes you just have to take yourself to the restroom and go ball it out and then come on back and finish your groceries. Take it out to the car, whatever. If you don't want to infringe upon anybody, you can do that. But you're moving through it because here pain is a wave, crashed over us, and you're feeling the feelings, and then you're moving on. It's when we just don't feel the feelings, or we're like, oh, I'm so miserable, I'm so, you know what I'm talking about. So what else gets us off? Feeling.
Negativity. The
Negativity.
negativity of all this stuff that's going on.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
It's hard to avoid it. I mean, it's everywhere you look, and you
It's
can't really shut it
everywhere.
off or anything.
Well, you can. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yes, the negativity, and sometimes it's just the negativity of the person that we're sharing space with.
I was going to say, being with people that are not
People that are not in a positive space.
Right.
Okay, that can create a feeling for us of feeling disconnected. I have a cure for that. I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a minute. What did you say?
Shame.
Shame. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, oughta, gotta, must have to, always, and never. Don't you love that? I don't even know where that came from, but they just all kind of hooked in. I didn't intentionally memorize those, maybe because I'm so familiar with them that they just are right there in my world. Yeah, shame can make us feel like.
It's just part of the human experience.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Has that.
Yeah.
Everybody does. Got a hand in the back somewhere. Done this somebody else. Yes.
Just feeling unsure of what direction you want to go in.
Unsure of your direction. That's kind of like, am I doing the right thing? I'm unsure. Yes.
Pain.
Pain. Physical pain.
Physical pain.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of people in this room who have chronic pain issues. And that can really, really rock your boat. Knock you off kilter. Emotional pain. Absolutely. Absolutely. So here's the deal. Did you have one?
social pain.
Social pain, meaning
Like it happens to me in school today. People come up to me, try to degrade me.
criticism from others. Yeah, gotcha. So here's the deal. Pain happens. Misery is optional. Pain happens. Misery is optional. We are all going to suffer some kind of pain, disruption in our life. It just happens. How we deal with that is part of the whole issue here. Now, I'd like you to imagine, if you will, imagine yourself in a column of light, just a beam of light. You think of that in your mind's eye, can't you? Okay. Was it not available to you 2 seconds ago before you thought of that? It was there. Well, you recognized that it was there. You imagined yourself, and there it was. Now, have you ever seen the cartoons and they have those thought bubbles?
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine in your thought bubble you've got sorrow, fear, worry, negativity, and all that other stuff. And pretty soon, all you can see is this cloud, this shadow. You always see shadowing over you. Is it really? Or is it our perception of the shadow? A perception of that as being an overshadowing in nature? I think it's our perceptions. I know a lot of people who are very, very sick, have a lot of pain in their lives, and they're the sweetest people you'll ever meet. And then I know somebody who has a hangnail. Oh my God! This world is going to an end! Right? You know what I'm talking about. You all have one in your life. I know you know. And sometimes we're that way. Remember, I've instituted the 2-minute line thing. So Stuff happens, I said a bad word. Stuff happens, and sometimes we get all spun up about it. And that's all we can think about, that's all we can experience, because there it is. And so you get 2 minutes to whine about it, in my world. So you come up to me, Janice, I got this really, okay, you're on the clock. Because if you whine about something, after about a minute and a half, it starts getting silly. And especially if I say, oh no, poor baby. And I mean that sincerely, and you know that it's just, we've slipped out of pain and into suffering. And if you can take yourself out of suffering and back into, yeah, this sucks, it hurts, but you know what, I'm okay. That's the key. And sometimes you just gotta spew. But if you're talking more than 2 minutes long, you're in the problem, you're suffering. And you're intensifying the suffering by talking about it more. Here's what the good book says. Among other things. Watch over your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life. Watch over your heart. Protect it. It's really important for us to be on guard about this. Not that we have to be, oh, am I doing that right? No, just relax about that. You can't do that wrong. Just when it comes to your attention of, oh, I'm feeling really miserable right now. I'm feeling disconnected right now. Back it up. See what the pain is. Because there's probably a message in the pain, or sometimes pain just happens. You know, pain's pain. It's a part of the human experience. Sometimes, because we're all connected, sometimes your pain will be greater because there's a child that's ill and can't bear it. So when you have pain, you thank God that you're able to bear that. You be grateful for it. And you receive it with gratitude. Because that's creating a pathway that somebody else can endure. Makes sense? When you're overwhelmed with a wave of sorrow, you can be grateful for that. Because that's given you a heads up that there's so much sorrow in the world and you can bear up. If you allow it to wash over you and you do what you got to do to get on the other side of that and not stuff it down and pretend it doesn't happen, but to process it out. Does that make sense? But guard, watch over your heart with all diligence. Watch over your own heart. If the news hurts your heart, stop watching. Phil's my newscaster. I have one in the home. He reads the paper. I read the funnies. He reads the paper. Honey, this happened. Oh, okay. Honey, that happened. Oh, okay. Because he can meter it down for me so it's not, there's a glaring trauma. Because I'm kind of empathic. Okay, I'm a lot. So I feel all of that. So he kind of meters that out for me a little bit. But I still am informed. But if watching the news upsets you and puts you from pain into misery, guard, watch out for your own heart. This is your responsibility, your job. You get to do that. And that's from Proverbs 4:23. One more question. Anxiety in the heart of a man weighs it down. Okay, let me make this politically correct. Anxiety in the heart of a person weighs it down. But a good word makes it glad. Again, that's, sometimes processing it out, talking out with a friend for 2 minutes, gives you the chance to disengage from the misery and get back to the reality of this is what it is. Okay, what can I do about that? What action can I take? Now we've addressed a lot of things except for the self-doubt and what was yours over here? Not I'm doing the right thing, or what do I do next? Okay. How do we deal with that one? And there's, sorry, I'm distracted. My train of thought just took away. So when we're in the misery of, am I doing it right? And that fear of, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? This is coming from the noodle and from the heart. The brain is this wonderful tool, and yet we make it our taskmaster. If we can use it as a tool, like a rake, you use it and then you put it away when you're not raking leaves. Maybe you need a shovel because now it's time to get snow or dig a hole for your garden or whatever. Use it as a tool. But your main operating system is a heart space. If we're coming from our heart space and doing what's in our heart to do, the next right thing, you're good. You're golden. And if something shows up that shows you, oh, this may not be the right thing for me, shift. Grind those gears if you gotta. Back the truck up and look at it in a different direction. Take a different set of circumstances, a different set of steps. But if you're doing what's at hand, the next right thing, the doubt goes, and you're connected. If you trust that the universe, God, higher power, he, she, we, he, it, they, all of them, is there in your life to guide you, if you have spirit guides and angels, and they're here to guide you, and you believe that, if you head down the wrong direction, you're going to get a heads up. Maybe it's a gift smack. I don't know. You're going to get a wake-up call that says, this is not working for me anymore. And one of the fastest ways for spirit to bring to you that it's not working for me anymore, it's time to make a new choice, is when we feel misery. When we feel misery, that's telling us to make a new choice. That we're not on the path that we came here to be on. Even if we're on the path that we came here to be on, and there's pain, it's okay. Pain is a part of the process. Pain is part of the journey. It's the misery that's optional. It's the misery that's optional. So there's a couple of cures here for all of that. And what works for one might not work for another, but I'm going to throw some suggestions out there for you. First suggestion I would offer you is whatever you're doing it with clear intent. This is the funnest thing in the universe. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. Because if you can do something with clear intent, changes everything. So you're in your office, you're in your job, and you're filing. And you hate filing. Anytime you file, because we're all one, we're connected, you're restoring order to chaos. Even in filing, washing dishes, you're rebalancing and preparing and opening the door for new, wonderful, good things to come to you. When you do it mindfully. If you do it out of misery, that's not going to work for you. And it's not going to work for the universe. But if you do it with mindfulness, you're not only helping your own life and bringing you back into, okay, this is the pain, I don't like it, but you're bringing energy into the universe that brings wonderful stuff to you. How many people have a window outside of your kitchen when you wash dishes? Okay. So most of us wash dishes no, I don't. There's a world out there. Open the curtains. Plant something out there that's beautiful to look at. And you can wash dishes. It's perspective. Misery is optional. Like it's pain, but I can do this. Make sense?
We feed the squirrels, so they play right.
They feed the squirrels, so the squirrels are out like, oh look, squirrels are having fun. He reminds me of Phil. I'll name that one Phil. Do you have a squirrel named Phil? You do now. You're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off because there's not enough highway. I have to get there first before the highway runs out, right? And you keep your pace. You're bringing peace into a chaotic world. Just do the right thing. Keep the pace. And that brings energy into this physical realm from divine realms that we need right now. We really need that. So another suggestion for you when you're feeling disconnected. Take the journey from here to here. How do you do that? How do you take the journey from here to here? Well, the brain is busy processing data. It's going, okay, is today Tuesday? No, it's Sunday. Is it 10 o'clock? No, it's almost 11. Is it potluck today? Yes, it is. You know, it's processing data. The heart is on a mission. And when you're living here, then it shifts everything. Now you're on a mission. It doesn't matter what time it is. It doesn't matter what day it is. I'm on a mission. I'm doing a deal. I'm suiting up, showing up, and being in my own life in a positive way. Doing everything with intent. That makes sense? So by getting into your heart space, how do you do that? Well, there's no wrong way, and there's lots of right ways to do that. One way is to move into a place of wonderment. The brain asks, why? Why me, God? Why? Why is this happening? Why is there so much chaos in the world? Why is it so painful? The heart goes, what can I do? I wonder what my next step is. That makes sense? How can I be of service? That's what the heart says. And when we're in the heart space, the pain is still there, but the misery is gone. So moving into that different set of questions, his brain asks some questions and the heart asks other questions. That makes sense? So one other thing is wonderment. If you can even use the word wonder, that helps you move out of the questioning and self-doubt and misery and put you back into your heart space. So I wonder what my lesson is in that. I wonder who is suffering and can't bear up. I'm wondering if I could be of greater service here. By putting ourselves in that place of wonderment, then we shift out of, it shouldn't be this way, the judgment, expectation, that moves us back into our heart space. Now, speaking of judgment and expectation, two sides to an evil coin. Fastest way out of that is I prefer that when we're done with the dish, that it goes on the side of the sink so that I can either wash it or put it in the dishwasher. I prefer that. Somebody else may prefer to put it in the sink. No, don't put dishes in the sink. I don't prefer that because then it gets cluttery in there. I don't like that. On the counter makes me deal with it right now. So if somebody comes along and puts something in my sink, I can choose to be angry about that, or I can go, oh, look, they don't do it the way I prefer. I prefer to do it this way. How many people put your silverware points up, and how many points up? How many people put their silverware points down? Okay, so.
Somebody don't care.
See, this is where conflict comes in, is if you have a preference, and I don't care. Because somebody prefers it a certain way, and the person, I don't care, they're going to do it their way, they're going to do whatever, and they might not even do it the same way twice. It's going to make the person who's preferring
crazy.
And you can slip into misery about that. Or you can just go, oh, isn't that the cutest thing? They love the sink. They love that. Aren't they the cutest thing? They just don't know my preference, or they just so don't care. How funny is that? We can get all spun out if we choose. Misery is optional. Pain happens. Get on with life. So what about all the pain that's in the world? I think that's a really huge issue for us. I know it is for me. I have a suggestion for us, and I want us to do this today. It's really hard to see how much pain and suffering there is, and how much anger and hurt. But if I focus on that, I stay in misery, and I engender, perpetuate, and intensify that. So I need to pull myself to recognizing it, acknowledging the pain, being in a heart space of what can I do about it? What am I willing to do in my life to make a difference? We can do that. So here's what I want to do. I have some little candles. I'm going to give everybody a candle. We're going to stand in a circle. Can we move the camera like to the center or something? I don't know. Put it in the back. Or, I don't know. We'll figure something out. But it would be really nice if we could circle up. So I'm going to ask for some help handing out candles. Camera should be okay? Okay. Here's what I'd like to do is I'd like someone to come help, and I want somebody to take a candle. I've got some little cool sleeves. Oh, this is so fun. And you're gonna light your candle from the candle. Because you know what? We don't light our light from the news. We don't light our light from whining. We go back to source. We remember that we're standing in this column of light. We remember that we are in the light and we are of the light. And then our light is amplified by the light, and it brings light into the world. You are the light of the world. We talked about that last Sunday. So here's what I'd like this to look like. What's got it? And I don't know if these are the best things in the world, but whatever they are. So you're going to need a little circle and a candle. Oh, you're going to help? Cool. And I think we did it that way. If you go from the top down, then that kind of creates a little pocket. So if you have any leakage, you can just, oh, we don't want leakage. When you feel ready, when you are ready to connect in with light, come over and light your candle. Now what's really funny, did you see on Facebook, somebody put it on Facebook the other day, where they showed a picture of a match, and it was lit, had a candle, or had a match was lit, and they were shining a really bright light on it, and you could see the matchstick, but you couldn't see a shadow from the candle. There's no shadow in the light. It's just light. So when you're ready to take it on and be the light in your own life, and step in and recognize pain happens, misery is optional. Just come on over. If I have to straighten out the little wick. And take it on. And then we'll just make a circle. And if Phil, would you dim the lights, my love? Can I get somebody to turn the rope lights on over the sanctuary? Thanks. Assembly line. That works. Yeah. If you guys go on around, then people don't have to walk past you. And then when that's full up, we'll look.
This is as far as I'm going.
Okay. Might want to cut through, maybe go to the other side or something, because it's...
They're gonna go that way,
Okay.
she said.
Okay. That works.
If you're more comfortable, Esther, you could just sit down. There's no wrong way. lovely, isn't it? So as others are filing in, you might want to look in your own heart, if you know right, and see where you may have some darkness there, may have some worry or fear. And let this light shine in there. Be the light in your own life. Okay, so who has a headache?
Oh, neither.
You have a headache? This side? Sometimes I get.
It's global.
It's global. I can help with that. If you're right. Now, the wonderful thing about this is that you don't have to be the light. You just allow the light to be in your life. It's exhausting to try to be the light. The verse we read earlier about guarding your hearts. Watch carefully over your hearts. You know, when you're walking, you had to be careful to not let the current, the breeze, extinguish the flame. You have to be careful not to breathe on it too hard. It'll extinguish the flame. So, too, it's really important for us to be careful to not let the flame of love and the flame of this passion of living to get extinguished by external circumstances. And trust me, they're there, are they not? We certainly can find rapid situations that we know that bring this trauma to us. So once everybody gets their candle, I could, do you want candles in the back in the cry room? Because we can bring them to you.
Jacob's coming.
They're sending.
They're sending them.
Yeah. You might want to leave the door open though, because he's gonna have 2 or 3 candles in it.
Our minds were in the same trap there. Now I have a process for us while we're holding the candles. As soon as everybody gets ignited. If your candle goes out, the person next to you will share. This is the quiet process. Anyone is uncomfortable and they need to sit, you're welcome to just sit down. Thank you for your assistance, much appreciated. You bring light to the world and others the light. A circumstance in your life, whether it's you personally, or whether it's global, where you feel there's darkness, by being aware of it and holding this candle, you bring light into that situation. And by bringing light into the situation, it dispels the darkness. There can't be darkness. Darkness cannot exist where there's light. If you turn a light switch on, the darkness vanishes. So by bringing the light and bringing awareness of the light into whatever situation you're experiencing, this brings that loving light into that effortlessly on your part. Effortlessly. This is not about struggle, making something happen. This is about allowing this living light of love to bring light, joy, happiness, harmony, all of those things that are encompassed in the light, to bring that into being. So just be mindful, be aware, and bring your intent to whatever that situation is. And now here's the hard part. Let go. You're ready. Was it hard to let go? Take the candle home with you, and this is your reminder. Microphone? Is there a microphone in that, Chris? Now here's the wonderful thing. This candle is still lit. And it can carry that energy for you. And at the end of service, when we blow this candle out, the light still exists. And it'll carry that for you. And it'll bring that energy into your world, into our world, and we can share in the light. Who would like to share their experience of that?
Janice, your sermon hit right on the nose for me today. I was feeling spun up and stressed about time, and just I wasn't allowing myself to live through my heart, and I was letting my brain tell me, oh, you don't have enough time, and blah, blah, blah. And so this was a really good place for me.
Wonderful.
And I will try and, I will focus on my heart, and let my emotions come from there instead of my brain.
Wonderful, powerful.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And about the busy and there's not enough time, what's interesting is when we get in our heart space, time expands. And the same thing that maybe took 2 hours normally takes an hour and a half. Now you suddenly have an extra bit of time that you didn't know you had. How many have experienced that? Have you ever experienced that? Yeah, so being in your heart space is powerful in lots of different ways. And that brain just loves to tell us what we're doing wrong. Corinne.
Yes, I had a real hard time with my brother and sister.
Okay, hold it closer to your face. There.
I had trouble with my brother and sister having maybe talked behind my back, and I found out, and there was a lot of disconnect between all of us, and it was a great deal of suffering for me for 2 days. And then I said, I'm done. And I wrote my sister and I said, it's all over, I'm done. I will not get hold of you again. And then I was fine.
Guarding your heart. You're watching out for your heart. Because guess what? Nobody else will.
No.
So if there's a toxic situation that's hurting your heart, take action. Anybody else want to pass that down, please?
I envision our beautiful planet Earth, and I saw candles lit in every continent as peace.
Oh, anybody else get goosebumps on that? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you. Go ahead.
I just, to protect my heart space, I just always try and believe that my higher power, there's a purpose for everything, and that I try not to let it sit in my head, but know that just God is good, and as long as I keep that.
Did this candle ceremony help
Definitely.
reconnect? to that?
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Anybody else want to share their experience? In the back, do you want to pass it back? Yes.
I've actually been dating someone who's not really connected as.
Say again?
I've been dating someone that's not really as connected as I've been hoping for, and just I just became clear that I can't put myself in that situation, and I need to concentrate on getting myself reconnected. So I just visualized every grounding meditation, and that the candle was filling me up with light, and then after I blew it out and released it, I was like Tinkerbell and floating up into towards God. So it felt really good. Thank you.
Good. So how many people had, anybody have trouble with letting go? And what did it feel like before and after? Who wants to share about that? You want to share about that? Y'all pass the microphone up front.
Janice,
Told you it was the hard part. Yes.
can you look at your paper on the floor, and it looks like a cherub in that line? You see that?
Not from this perspective.
It looks like a cherub face.
Oh. I can't see it
The
from
sunlight
here.
on the paper.
Very cool. All right, you took pictures of that, apparently. Well, maybe we can see it from your camera. I'm not seeing it here.
Letting go, that's a hard one. I'm from Denver, and one of the things, my church is very metaphysical like yours, and we have we have this little machine over there that actually show you if you have gone into your heart by vibration. They could tell. And I found the easiest way for me to drop into my heart was to think of someone I love very dearly. And that's just bring me right down. And today it was hard to let go because I missed my kids.
Yeah. That would be very hard. You know, the love is still there, the connection is still there, but boy, you sure miss seeing them every day, right? Yeah.
especially my granddaughter.
Oh, and grandkids are the best. Grandkids are the best in the whole world. Well, we grieve with you because that's really hard. That's really hard. So even though you're letting go of the flame and you're letting go of the pain, you're not letting go of that connection.
Oh,
that
no.
connection
There's
is
no
still there. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for finding you. I needed this because I don't feel connected unless I'm with like-minded people. And the TV doesn't go on with the news in my house. Or the newspaper, unless it's the cartoons.
Yeah, one of those cartoons. Well, so I'm really glad you found a church family that you feel connected here. And I think that's one of the tools that we can use is our energy is amplified when we're
Yes.
in a
Yeah, because I
community.
find I can do lots stronger things when I'm with a group than I am by myself.
Absolutely. We're all the same way. We're all in the same boat. So really glad you're here. And I think it's really helpful for us to know that you're suffering. So now we can bolster you up and help you because that helps us be strong too. So thank you for sharing that. Any other comments on the letting go process? One more.
I lost my son a couple of years ago, and so I've had to work on it quite a bit. But I also have visions, and when I first was in the misery state, you know, and having struggling, when I see my son, it would be more dark around him. And then the more I let go and went with my heart, the more when I see him now, there's a brighter light on him too. So, you know, for you, there's going to be a brighter light on your kids.
Absolutely. Because we are connected.
Yeah, now
What we do
see the darkening
affects everything. Thank you for sharing that. Wonderful. This is your first time here. You're not scared off? Everybody's shrieking from the room. I'm not the only one. You see cherubs and paper. I'm just not. Mr. Poole, you want to join me up front? Communion is an energetic, physical manifestation of the connection that we share. So to bring it into the physical realm is the purpose of communion. So we're sharing in this together. It's a community activity, and we're connecting, reconnecting by choice to spirit. So join me in prayer. Amen. Did you get that? I can't make this shit up.
We got that too. Shannon can edit it.
Okay.
Most feet are actually on the floor.
Okay, this time maybe I'll pray. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I can get through that. Would you join me in prayer, please? Loving Spirit of light, thank you for the connection that is here for us. Thank you for allowing us to be aware of it. Help us to be aware of it. Bring that connection closer to us. Lift us up so that we can see, we can experience. This is what we truly desire. We ask that you walk with us in all things and help us bring our mindful intent into every activity. These things we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen. This is fun.
A volunteer. Scott. She told me you wanted to.
He mentioned it once, therefore.
Wow. What I've learned at the Divine Fellowship, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, that's the one thing that there's always run here with me, and there are safe places in this world to come and be yourself, and this is definitely one of them. So thank you to Phil and Janice, and please give generously and prayers and blessings, and thank you everybody.
Thank you, Scott. Besides, Scott said I need to be kept in supply of postage.
We need all the clerks to be today.
That's it. What did that go on this week? We're out of calendars. I saw this. Apparently. Just a moment. Mr. Phil, you're got an avalanche.
I know, cool, isn't it?
I prefer being organized. And that's not going to happen. Oh, this is May. We don't want May. What's going on in the world? What's going on this week?
There should be one up there.
There's July, right under June. Avalanche, I say. Avalanche. Okay. This week, in a few minutes, we'll have a barbecue potluck. That'll be fun. Motion Code Monday night. Crystal Willingham is leading that, so if you have any questions, ask her. Drum circle with Daryl Morrison. Daryl's not here, but drum circle. If you have any questions, you can ask William. William is often here for that. Sandra and William for Interchange on Wednesday night. Intuitive Development Thursday night. And ARE. Jenny, raise your hand if anyone wants to know what the heck ARE is. That's her. Saturday is Art and Soul. Heidi has information on that, so you can check with her.
And I think we might have children with us this time, so if you want to bring kids.
Bring kids is fine. Okay. Okay. If you're brave, bring your children and crafts. I think. Next Sunday is Christopher Sunday. It's on the calendar incorrectly, but next Sunday is the fourth Sunday, and it is Christopher Sunday. So Christopher will be here. I checked with him. He's going to be here for next Sunday. So way fun is that. Anything else I'm forgetting, Mr. Filch? No, I don't think so. Oh, we have eggs in the back. And also Yvonne brought some organic tomatoes and organic peppers. And they're outside in the entry area, in the patio. So eggs are in the kitchen. Organic fruit, organic vegetables are in the entry area. So free. Yes, they're free. Eggs are not free. Fruits, vegetables are free. So let's. You got a closing song, my beloved?
In this world.
In this world. Let's circle it.